Good as advertised. We played Auburn 80 minutes this season, so veteran team, older team, returners. Coach has been doing this for a long time. So yeah, just as good as advertised. A team that definitely, in my opinion, is one of the handful of teams that would be kind of the favorite to win 6 games in three weekends. I think the tell of the game for us is, if you'd have told me before the game that we could get to 80-something points and we are going to shoot, close to 50 from the field and make some threes right around mid-30s, get to the free throw line more or equal to Auburn, and take care of the ball relatively well, 10 or less turnovers, I wouldn't have predicted that we were going to win the game, but I would have predicted we'd have a chance to win the game. But that wasn't the story. Y'all saw it, because on the other side of the floor, just non-existent defense from Ole Miss. It's not just the players, it's everybody in the program. I think you give Auburn credit. Very, very difficult to guard when they're making shots like they were basically in the first 6 to 8 minutes of the game. They won't lose. Calmed down a little bit, and they missed a few, and we got back in the game at halftime. Should have been a 7-point differential, and we made a shot clock decision. Should have held for the last shot in the first half and didn't. But no, defense just non-existent, and I would say a lot of it had to do with Auburn. Really difficult to guard. They come at you in waves with depth, and so that was the tell of the game from our perspective. Thought offensively we gave ourselves a chance to be in the game, and then defensively we just didn't have a defense tonight. That's my longest opening statement in the history of college basketball.
So, Janai Broome, what makes him so difficult to guard, and how do you game plan for somebody like that?
Who's 40 for the Sonics? Sean Kemp. Yeah, that's the guy, man. JUCO guy. Broome's got great poise and great kind of patience. It's one of those players that on film you might even kind of misguided as like, man, is he playing hard? Does he take plays off? And I don't think I'm sure he does that from coach's perspective, but he plays with a poise and kind of a pace, kind of a pro pace. And that makes sense because he's a pro. I think he makes timely plays too in big moments. It's a luxury for any team to be able to calm the game down and just throw the ball inside. Challenge to guard him. If you double him, he's such an improved passer that I think even from last year, it's not just about his left hand anymore. He can pass the ball. And if you don't double him, he's more than capable of getting to the free throw line or scoring. I don't know him. Shook his hand 4 times, and but he plays with a lot of poise. A lot of that's the thing that I'm most impressed with is it doesn't seem to get too high or too low on a team that has some emotional characters, no doubt about it. I think Broome's kind of the steady rock in my opinion.
Back left,
Coach, your team shot nearly 50% tonight and lost. Multiple coaches have come into this press room and talked about the strength of the SEC this year in basketball. Can you give us a comment on the strength of the league this year?
It's just as good as advertised. It starts with some of the best players in the league staying in the league. I think the SEC's commitment overall to embracing name, image, and likeness has been a real factor. Good recruits in the league, good transfers. Then the season starts, and it's the same thing at every press conference. If you're coaching in the Big East, you say, we're the best league. If you're in the Big 12, you say, we're the best league. And no different, every SEC coach, we're the best league. And then what I think really happened was in the non-conference, so many marquee wins, including Ole Miss. Give us some credit. We contributed to that. Beat Louisville, NCAA tournament team at Louisville. Beat BYU on a neutral floor, NCAA tournament team. Beat a really good Colorado State team, sneaky. NCAA tournament team, in my opinion. But no, I think that's kind of what happened. On Christmas Day, you look up at the non-conference records, and I think that's kind of what started the narrative. Could this be maybe the best conference in the history of college basketball? Now, to me, the validation is what happens in March. But in my opinion, there's 4 teams in this league that are almost kind of favorites to be in that 10 to 12 schools that basically kind of have an advantage. Like, that's a team that could win 6 games in 3 weekends. Then you got the next tier, And despite what you saw today from Ole Miss on the defensive end, I do think that we are in that next tier. I think we are a team that, if we can figure out some things defensively and just keep getting better over time, we could be one of those teams that, depending on how the bracket opens up and what have you, we've done it before. And so I think we're kind of in that next tier.
Go far left in the back.
Chris Baker-Mazara had 40 in 2 games against you guys. He'd been kind of back and forth with some injuries the last few weeks. When he's healthy, what does he give that team as kind of an X factor?
He's got a great role on this team, in my opinion. A lot of times young players hear the word role and they think they're being disrespected. You know what a role player in the NBA is? It's a guy that's got more money and grandkids won't even have to work one day, So the best players I've ever coached are role players. But I think back to him, he has the dynamic role in this team. His shot selection is a little bit different than most guys, in my opinion, but his teammates are cool with that. He's a good player, plays a lot of emotion, obviously, but he can impact the game, I think, above all, by being one of those guys that can go get a basket. If the offense breaks down, you can give him the ball and he can go get a basket or he can make a play.
Go middle right in the second row.
Coach, in your last 4 games of the season, including tonight against number 1, number 5, and number 3, even in a 30-point loss, do you take anything positive away from this that can help you against Tennessee and Florida in those last 2?
Yeah, you always take positive. It's a 40-minute game. Yes. Again, I thought offensively tonight, again, if you'd have told me before the game, we shoot those percentages, take care of the ball, get some balanced scoring, get to the free throw line. And again, I'm not predicting a win at number 1 Auburn, but I'm predicting that we'll be in the game, can maybe make it interesting late. So I think there's some positives on the offensive side of the ball. Thought we got some contributions from some players. Mikael Brown is nobody wants to hear our problems, but Mikael's battled injuries all year long, and I thought he gave us some real valuable minutes tonight. Did some things again against some really good players, so that's a positive off the top of my head.
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.